What's good, fam? Welcome to Subserver Dub's anime review of Vinland Saga episode 17. My name is Vision.
I'm Rebel.
We're going to break down this episode. So, finally, you got a glimpse of what you wanted this whole 17 long episodes.
Look. Did I get what I wanted? Yes. Am I satisfied? No. Bro, it was like 45 seconds of action and the man didn't even have his daggers. And I'm like, bro. And then to top it all off, like, that lasted the best part of the episode lasted 5 minutes. We still had a crucial 12 minutes of just
his backstory, man. They're trying to show the life
character we're never gonna see again.
Well, yes, he's dead. I would hope we don't see the person.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Like, we wasted all this time for him to just.
This is why people are grilling you in the comments, man. Listen, they don't. So
no. Ain't nobody grilling me in the comments. They was talking about that I didn't know what I was talking about. I didn't appreciate season 2, and then there were the two sides.
I mean,
ain't nobody wanted to debate me. I put it up on there. I said, let's debate. Let's talk.
I will say this, to be fair.
Yes, ma'am.
You don't appreciate this season.
I don't appreciate it. It's not good.
That's okay.
It's not good. And I will stay 10 toes down on it. Like I said, there's very little that can redeem this season. I understand. He's developing in a different way. He didn't know about living this certain lifestyle. I get it. Blah, 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 blah.
They're just showcasing what happens on the other part of war.
Excuse bad writing.
I wouldn't say this is bad writing. This is okay. Now you're tripping. Now let me wrap this off.
We got a random character 3-4 episodes ago.
Well,
he dies. Like it's like it was unimportant.
I think it's important. Let me explain why it's important. The character in itself unimportant, but what the character shows is important. What I mean by that is you are seeing the direct results of basically we can call it casualties of war. Okay. So you've seen the process of what it looks like on not the war front, the battlefront, but what happens around
the war. Did that with Einar?
Kind of, but we got more in depth. And
we got one side where season 1 you have a character who's actually doing the pillaging and doing the raids of the village, and then you have Einar who is a prisoner of war, right? Yeah. He's a victim of war. So we already got that. How does Gardar's little mini arc further the plot? It doesn't.
I think
if you want to call it, like, if you want to say, hey, they did that while they were preparing for the final.
I don't think it's like, necessarily furthering the plot or representing what we just talked about, right? But it's more so helping guide Thorfinn in his newfound path, because he's put in these positions. Like, you just seen him fight with Snake. He's fighting unarmed. He knows he wants to protect, but he doesn't want to kill anyone. But he knows he has to stop them from killing. So, like, what does he do? I'm going to go Jason Bourne. I'm going to disable this guy. Not going to kill him. Okay, but I'm saying this whole...
He going to be Batman now, bro?
No, I mean...
Batman, he gonna beat the crap out of them so they can't move, and they got broken limbs and a broken skull, but hey, they not dead.
Hey man, I feel like if you get a broken skull back in those days, it's over. There is no recovery. But I'm just saying, that's what they're trying to portray. That's why it happened again.
Yeah.
Because some people miss. I mean, think about it. Have you in a way you can kind of say this was hinted in season 1 with the old guy who got traded for the goat.
Yeah.
Remember the guy who was dead and he's like he's not worth anything. We don't know. I don't even think we really knew his backstory, but
yeah,
he could have been in a similar situation, casualty of war in any shape, form, or fashion. But at the end of the day, life is, even as it's fleeting, is more important than a lot of things.
I understand all that, but the fact that that's okay, what you're getting from that, that's great, but that's not what it's telling me. Like, that's not what I'm getting from this. Like, and it's not that I'm a new anime watcher, or it's just literally like it feels like, I don't know. I feel like they had a direction they were going with, right? And I feel like, not like they're backtracking, but it just doesn't feel naturally.
This storytelling is just not what you're used to. I would say that, because there's not a lot of animes like this.
What I'm used to. It's about.
I think it is a lot about what you're used to, because you have expectations. That's what I'm saying.
The expectations don't come from nowhere.
Yeah,
The expectations come from something that was already
the
happening.
expectations come from something you experience
Yes.
with this anime and then other anime. So you are looking for that same.
But the problem is, like, and I feel like what you're hinting at is action, right? Everyone in the comments, I think there was one person on the comments when I put up that TikTok, and they're like, "Oh, don't worry, like I promised, the action's coming." I'm like, it's not about the action.
It is though.
Because there was very many episodes out of the 24 episodes of Vinland Saga season 1. There was maybe like 13, 14 that were very big on action, fights. There was another 12 episodes where it was a lot of dialogue, a lot of information, but it was good information. The whole story with Canute, like going from basically, I understand what they're trying to do. Canute in season 1 went from like this pacifist who doesn't kill, then he slowly has to start realizing what he has to do in order to be king, right?
Mm-hmm.
You could say that Thorfinn's journey is the opposite.
Yeah.
Right? But why is it that Canute's story was so much better?
It's because you had
polar opposites.
Because the reason
Thorfinn's feels forced.
The reason why you feel it's better is because you had so many surrounding aspects. Even though you listen, from what I know about you and being around you, the lack of action is a big reason why you don't like it as much. Now, is that the only thing? No. When you bring up Canute, that's a great. You're 100% spot on, and they're like you said, they're swapping the roles in this 90 day. But since you have that lack, it's not like we're getting a lot of Canute fighting
for sure
to kind of drown out. Because if we just seen Canute's journey back then, it wouldn't have mattered. You wouldn't have watched it anyways. You'd feel the same way you feel about this anime. That's this season about season 1. If it was just about Canute and there was no fighting. See what I'm saying?
It's not about the fighting though. I feel like it's.
But I listen. I know you're
trying to say.
No,
I know what you're trying to say. I know what you're trying to say. The problem is like, season 1 had a lot of moving parts, right? Yes. And so whether you could call that fighting, whether you can call that Canute's, but like you have fighting, you have Canute's like his progression. You have all these movie pieces.
But it was in the background.
Saga, but it's still like thrown in there in the aspect of like
it's sprinkled around the action.
Yeah, it's sprinkled around. It's just like it's hard. Like even if you talk about shows that are not anime, right? It's very difficult for you to have a show that's in one setting for it to be successful. That's why a lot of like people were surprised like The Office blew up, because a lot of what they do is inside the office. It's hard to have in one setting because it has to basically be carried by dialogue, which in this is the same setting. You're on a farm, right? You are kind of hindered by the dialogue, and the plot is what's going to have to keep the story afloat.
Mm-hmm.
Season 1 didn't do that. They were in different lands. They were different, like, they were on the boat. So like when you have a lot of moving pieces, even if there's dialogue, it's easier because you're not in the same place. You can have a conversation. Hey, now we're in England. Now we're here. But we're literally stuck on a farm. And things that may seem like they're a big deal, they're not. Like, they spent 3 years hacking down trees for their freedom. And in my mind, I'm like, why is Thorfinn even a slave to begin with?
I mean, and then it's like
they
find that answer.
Like, man, if we work hard enough, we can be free. And then what are you gonna do when you're free? And I'm like, what? What are we talking about here? Like, it's like they're in crisis mode, but those problems are minuscule when you actually see season 1. Season 1's problem were actual real problems.
But you're seeing. I hear what you're saying, but you're seeing the season 1 problems as real problems, or they are problems, right? But in season 2, Thorfinn's problems are real problems too. He has no direction. He lost Ashklad, lost his dad.
Yeah.
If you think about this, and this is listen, I will say this:
like so many people in season 1 died.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of people that die, but a lot of people don't go through what he went through.
That's valid.
Like I can't even think of another situation, like a fiction situation that's even close. There might be some, obviously, but and I think if we talk to those people, they're definitely messed up or have severe brain. Not want to say disabilities, but they've just been through a lot of traumatic events. Maybe they got PTSD somewhere. But anyways, I think this is how I look at it. Vinland Saga, the way it's storytelling, it's a lot different from others. A lot of people don't appreciate it. You being one of them, right?
Yeah.
But this is where I stand with the anime, because I read some comments, and what I notice is I see a lot of the same people that like One Piece are shitting up on everyone, including yourself, that have any type of criticism towards season 2. My point is this: I see both sides. So, if you look at it, like, again, this is why I say you're kind of conditioned to how you view anime and certain animes. You see season 1, you love it for what it is, everything, and then you see such a dramatic change in tempo and just what it represents and what it shows. This is not what you've been what you've been shown and what you've been introduced to. So what bar had set, you're looking for something to either be around the area, and it's so,
like I told you, like
such a difference.
Had we not got season 1 and Vinland Saga started the way that it did,
You probably, you wouldn't like it.
Expectations are lower, right? And I get that. The thing about people who like One Piece, right? My thing is, like, I will always be honest and truthful. I love One Piece. Are there bad seasons? Of course. Are there slow episodes? Of course. Does it feel like the first 5 minutes of the episode and the last 7 minutes of the episode are wasteful? Of course. Do they reuse scenes? Of course, right? I will always be honest in the sense of it's still a great story overall. Is it perfect? No.
Okay.
Right? This is the same situation. It's a great story, right? It's a great show, but there are going to be bad seasons.
Of course.
And in my eyes, this is just
a bad season in your eyes. No, there's nothing wrong with that.
It's a bad season, yeah.
And that's and
it's not so much of like, and like I said, a lot of it might be comparative. It may be, I'm comparing it to season 1, and it's kind of like you got.
It's just the progression is so different.
It almost feels like you got like ripped off. Like you're like, this is the direction we're going in, and like cool, like can't wait to see what what else happens, and then it's like
you get such
tempo changes. Yeah, like the tempo, the momentum, the storyline, the feel. It all changes, and it's like it feels like a different anime.
Yeah,
and that's what you don't want. Like what you want is a continuation. I get it. It is a continuation.
I think that's what you want, though. But I would agree, most people want that.
That's almost anime, all right? Like
that's
it's a continuation.
That's my point. You're like looking for a progressive story.
It feels like 2 different stories, and I feel like
it is.
It doesn't feel like it's connected though. Like, it is like. Mechanically, it is connected. Like storyline is connected, but in my
differently,
eyes,
yeah, it's 100% different.
You know, like when you read a book from the beginning to the end, you're like, man, like collectively as a story that was good, but it feels like I'm getting 2 stories, 2 animes with the same name, and that's where I think I'm getting like it's hard for me to let go of what I've already seen
and appreciate
what I have.
I hear you.
It's not fluid to me, and that's how I feel. Some people might feel differently. People who read the manga, there might have been ways that it blended better. To me, it just doesn't feel blended. It feels like 2 different animes with the same name, and it's like take it for what it is or get lost. Which that's how some of the fans are. Appreciate it as it is, or you've never seen anime before, and it's just like that's crazy to me. Bro.
And this is what I'll say about it. And the reason why I made that comparison is just like I feel like some fans, and not you and not you in particular, but people who like defend One Piece so hard, I feel like you're getting that same type of energy with Vinland Saga. So. Most people I've seen, I read some comments on Crunchyroll today, and then on our TikTok, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that if you haven't subs over dubs on TikTok, in all platforms actually, but you see this instant judgment for calling out what you see in season 2, which in my opinion, I think that's fair game. Everything you mentioned, like people gotta understand, especially manga viewers, because I don't think they're thinking about this. Of you taking this anime the way we did, or most people will, where it's just I watch it on Netflix, Prime Video, season 1. Oh, this shit's dope.
Yeah.
If you're coming in and watching it, season 2, a lot of people are gonna fall off because they're not necessarily looking for this style anime.
Sure.
I don't think it doesn't appeal to everyone, but I think it is good. But at the same time,
it has a niche group of following where it's like people who are, we can call it what it is, people who like storyline, they like more in-depth character development like that. Yeah, it's gonna be great, right? But for the majority, that's not the case. Like people want a different feel, right? And my thing is like, that's cool, but like for you to be like, one thing that really just bothered me was like that whole, like I keep going back to it, they're like, you're probably a new anime watcher. I was like, bro, I've probably been watching anime longer than a lot of people, right? But the biggest thing is that we can have opinions, but I'm ready to discuss it. If I say something on this podcast, I'm ready to 10 toes down this, And that's why I was like, I'll invite you to, bro, hop on our Discord and we'll talk about it. Another guy was saying something about it. I put the handshake emoji and I was like, let's debate it. They didn't want to. Don't give me your opinion. And then like you're basically calling me like what's the word? Casual.
Yeah.
You're calling me a casual and you don't want to debate about it, bro. Like I'm cool with it. Let's debate about it. But like,
And that's the biggest problem, because you have the manga readers who, a lot of things you pointed out, really appreciate the story,
for sure.
but to the casuals, to intermediate, like the way people take in anime is the way, like, you can't kind of change that. So you can't get mad at someone judging the anime for how they view it.
Yeah.
Whether they are casuals, new to anime, don't like this style of storytelling, that's how they feel about the anime. You can't get mad for voicing their opinion. Now you can talk about why you think it is good, and some of them did, but a lot of people in the comments, and especially in our comments, straight attacked people for just saying, Nick, like, man, this season has been really slow, and their first thing to say is like, well, you've been here for 18 episodes. It's like, well, one, they're looking for a return on their investment, and two, they're hoping.
You say that, I like a return on my investment. That's a very good way to put it. I think
that's a lot of One Piece
in words, but like you're right. Like we watched season 1, and we have invested 18 consecutive weeks. We haven't missed a week. We're looking for a return on our investment. Yeah. We're looking for something that's going to give us the glimmer of hope of what we've seen in season 1, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, people think that there's something wrong with like we have to like everything that they do, right? Same with like when Chainsaw Man came out, there was such a big hype around it. If you said anything negative, people probably. But realistically, season 1 of Chainsaw Man had a lot of flaws.
Yeah,
right. First half picked up really well, was going on an incline, like it was increasing. Then it kind of fell off a little bit, picked it back up, and then the last 2 episodes weren't that great, but someone who reads manga or is a big Chainsaw Man, they're like defending with their life. Cool, defend it, right? But like, let's be realistic. Let's talk about these things. Like I said, I'm big on One Piece. It's not perfect, right? That's the time I got reincarnated as slime. Love that anime. I have been afraid to watch the movie because I know that you're honest with your opinions, and I value your opinion. And I'm like, if you said it's bad, it's probably bad, and it's gonna make my opinion of it be a little bit less because I can be realistic about it. Like I know just because I like the show doesn't mean everything they do is gonna be perfect. Doesn't mean that everything that the manga writer writes is gonna be perfect. Same with the animation and the studio company. Like it's just realistic, but I don't know. It's just funny to me that people are like, you can defend it, right? But there's just a way to go about it. Like you talk about One Piece all the time. I defend it, but if you ask me, like, has this one fight scene been going on for a while? Been going on for a while, right? Like, let's be honest about it, but it still doesn't deter the fact that I like it, and it's an anime for me. So it's just like, I don't know. People are kind of weird, and I get it, especially on the internet. People talk more freely because they're kind of like behind a keyboard, don't really know your names and things like that. So they can say these things that they probably wouldn't say either in person or.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, like, it is what it is. I wouldn't give them that much time. As soon as like you try to, reach out, let's talk about it, they denied the opportunity. I mean, that's all you need to know.
It's a win for Rebel right there.
I think, at the end of the day, like, everyone needs to understand what everyone likes. Like, even for you, like, I understand you. I mean, you say otherwise, but I feel like I know the reasons why you don't. But even if that's the case, like, I understand, like, not everyone's gonna want or appreciate certain styles. They have, like, if you ask me personally, if I could get what I had in season 1 and season 2, yeah, I probably would like that more. I really like season 1. There's a lot of action, and we had the storytelling, versus now it's much heavier on the storytelling and character development. And you feel as though like a lot of these characters that we're developing are unnecessary, which is true to a point. But I feel like the way he's doing it to showcase Thorfinn and highlight his growth, his challenges, and stuff like that. But I get it. Like, a lot of people who are sit in your boat, I agree, but I don't also understand to an extent why some people defend it so heavy. But they gotta also understand what, like, the people are gonna want or like what they want to like.
Sure.
Just because you read the manga and you know how this ends, it doesn't matter if no one can make it through the show to see the end. You know what I'm saying?
And I think that's the biggest thing is people are like, even when, like, say Attack on Titan came out,
Mhm.
Season 2 came out, and I'm like, man, I'm having a real tough time, like, and then Season 3, and they're like, but Season 3, like, it makes up for it, or, when you get to the finale, or, if you read the manga, I'm like, it doesn't matter if I can't get past this point, and it's like, at this point, if it wasn't for this podcast, I would not be sitting here watching 18 episodes of Vinland Saga. That's just being honest, Season 3 might take over, and everything that they do in Season 2 might, like,
Make up for
it, right? Or all of those seeds that they planted and all the storytelling might be like, yo, now that Season 3
we
came
can
out,
draw
I'm
back.
glad that they did this. Like, I might not appreciate it now, I might appreciate it later, but that doesn't deter the fact that right now it's a tough watch.
Yeah.
For me personally, and
I think
just
I think
realistic.
and I think of people who read the manga of it, if it has that type of like Season 3 impact, they wouldn't. It shouldn't be as quick to be so critical of people being critical of the anime as Season 2, and just understand it like, hey, just tell people buckle in, man. Like, some of the guys said it like, there's gonna be greater action scenes later on, but to your point, it's still hard to deal with in the moment, week to week, when it's this slow, because we only have 4 more episodes, or is it 24?
18, 19.
6 more episodes, or
So
we're at 17. So
like, if Season 3 makes up for it, like, just let us know. All you have to do is be like, yo, I read the manga, and I know it's tough, but it's gonna get a lot better. And it's gonna be worth it. That's all I need to know. But
just to call you out.
At the end of the day, they have their opinions. We have our opinions. Everyone has their own opinions. So, like, I don't knock anybody for their opinions. It's just like, don't knock me for mine. So that's just how I see it.
Hey, I don't give a fuck. Y'all can talk. If I don't agree with you, I hear you. No, I'm speaking for myself. For all you guys, watching the pod and stuff, we can talk about it. If I don't see any validity in what you're talking about, because again, guys, understand, when we talk about anything, we watch anime, it's all from anime perspective. We're not talking manga. We don't know backstory. We're taking this content from the anime. So there's a lot of people who might not think about these things, and I think, like I mentioned earlier, a lot of these people are so invested into the show. Of course, they're gonna defend it, and I get it, because and like I said from the top of the show, like, I feel the same energy from a lot of people who watch One Piece, who really like it. But I digress.
Yeah, I mean, and that's valid too. But, like, to what I always talk about, you're valid in your opinion because you've at least caught up, or maybe like 5 episodes behind. 6, but, like, I respect that opinion, and that's one of the reasons why I continue to watch Vinland Saga, because it's like, well, if I'm watching it week after week and I've gone 1 season and 18 episodes in, I have a valid opinion. Whether it's not what you like, I have a valid opinion because I can speak on it. And I've sat here in 20 minutes times 18, bro. I still wasted that, not wasted, but, like, still
invested
part of my life. Yeah, so it's like I'm valid to that.
You can be critical.
Had I not seen it, had I been like, yo, from what I'm hearing from other people, Season 2 sucks, then you're invalid, right? And that's the only time where I get annoyed about, like, the One Piece things.
Yeah. I'll
sit there, and when we do our podcasts, or we'll go on the streets and we're asking people, an anime is overrated. Oh, One Piece. Oh, well, what don't you like about it? Well, I've never seen it, but it's too long. And it's like, okay.
Well, some people do say it's too long. And some people do watch it and they just understand, like, they get to a point. But I see what you're saying. Like, if you don't watch it at all and say that.
If you watch, you're like, yo, I watched 50 episodes and it was trash. Hey, you gave it a shot. 50 episodes, believe it or not, is a lot of episodes. A lot of animes that were good back in the day didn't even make 50 episodes. You know what I'm saying? So 50 episodes to me is a good gauge. 40 episodes. But if you're like, yeah, I watched the first 2 episodes, didn't really like it, and, it's trash, you're not valid, bro.
Nah, I got you. But let's talk a little bit more about the episode. We went on a little tangent right there. Shout out to you guys in the comments, man. Listen, I'm down for it. Speak your piece, man. I'll give you a little bit back and forth, but I feel as though you're just not seeing the complete picture, I'm not gonna entertain it. Vision. Rebel, on the other hand, he might give you a little bit more before he walks away. But with that being said, episode, again, I like the fact that we got to see Thorfinn throw the hands again. He's not, it looks like he's gonna be hard stuck, he's not gonna kill anyone, I guess, again. I still think he's gonna be put in a predicament where it's like he's gonna have to make a choice. And he might have to cross that line again.
I think he's gonna end up being Canute.
He's gonna force him.
Oh no, I think he's gonna have to be forced. To kill Canute.
Yeah.
That would be the craziest.
That's I mean, that would make sense.
Then in that point, when you're talking about storytelling, that could be like Canute is the person that
You had yin and
he
yang.
looks like him. Yeah, like
Yeah.
that's who he used to be, you know. And it's like almost like I have to kill who I used to be in order to like kind of pass thing to get. See, that's cool. That
That's
would
why
be
I
like
think
cool,
ultimately this. I don't. Again, I haven't read the manga.
Yeah, you
I
know.
feel like if that's the direction where they're, I
That'd be a
think
good
it's highly
one.
likely it goes that
There
way.
you go.
It's gonna be a good episode. It's just hard getting through these episodes for some people, and I get it. Cause this like, if like I don't want to say if I was a more casual, if I didn't see anime the way I did,
Yeah.
I would have. I'd probably feel a lot like you do in the way. And most people be like, man, I'm not. This shit is not what season 1 was.
Yeah.
They're not even gonna like look to even think like why. And they're not gonna even give you the chance. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, at the end of the day, this is animes. People are gonna have what they want to watch, and that is what it is. So
Yeah, facts.
other than that episode, we've seen just essentially another backstory of what happens outside, or the aftermath, or the ripple effects of war. You have, a distraught family, and I feel like their kid that we've seen a little bit at the end of the episode. I don't know if that really happened. The way she said it, like it was just more of a let me calm you down. Well,
Yeah.
go back home. It's over, because essentially we see Godard see both of his paths as they're riding on the wagon on the way out. And shout out to him, man. He's the absolute tank. Man took a whole 3 episodes to die, I guess we could say. He was
That was like 4 or 5.
man took a while to bleed out on that carriage. And
he almost killed Snake on top of that, bro.
I mean, he probably would have killed him. Hey, man. Snake let his guard down.
That fight scene, though, like, I keep going back to that fight scene, and it's like, that was great. Like, seeing, even for me, like, I didn't know that Thorfinn can fight the way that he did without the daggers. I think, like, to me, the daggers was, like, what he relied on.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that he was able to still move the same and, like, sweep one of the legs, I was like, that's pretty
I think it's just because, like, we were talking a little bit off cameras, because since you're so close in combat, your close quarters, you had to have that type of movement because you gotta get in close.
Like you gotta be free.
Yeah, you gotta be in close to do damage, anyways.
Like intuition and things like battle senses, where it wasn't just because in season 1 it seems like not really like he's just running in blind, but he was at the beginning, and that's one thing that Ashley was like, you get angry or you get this, and you're not thinking, you're not like having your battle senses, and you can see the growth in this fight where he's like thinking, he's doing this, so I gotta move on. And it's like, man, like
seeing that come to life was nice.
And that aspect of development, you can definitely see where he's matured and he's being more thoughtful about his movements instead of just running in blind. Because Snake ain't no joke, bro. You could tell. And had he miscalculated anywhere,
he could have died.
Yeah,
at any moment, he could have been. He could have off.
Really cool. That was really nice to see, and obviously, I look forward to more of that.
He says that.
If I'm being honest, I'm looking forward to more of that.
Hey,
even if it goes to the aspect of not killing, and he's just doing that to defend himself, that's
enough.
It's interesting.
You would rather deal with that, obviously. Yeah,
for sure.
Nah, I got you. It's all about the action. Don't let him. I know him better than he knows himself.
75% of it is the action.
Hey, listen, it's all right, man.
I love good storytelling. I love good plot, and I like furthering character development, but
he needs action, guys. It's all right. He don't want to admit it on camera, but it's okay. I'm here.
Action is dope. Ain't nothing. I got into anime when I was younger for the action. I just happened to start appreciating like character development and things like.
Oh, they're gonna roast you in the comments.
Hey man, they can roast me all they want, bro, but they won't debate me. I guarantee you that.
Hey man,
10 toes down on it.
Rebel says, pull up.
Pull up on the Discord. Subs Overdubs Discord. The Subs Overdubs Discord, baby.
But we're gonna wrap it up on that episode, guys. Let us know in the comments. Is it subs
or is it dubs?
Peace.
Shout out for him, man.